in the background. And there are big cliffs and stone outcroppings all along this coast and in the water, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful setting and a wonderful beach that is very sparsely populated almost all the time. So it's a little bit of paradise. And we're very fortunate to be here. And this afternoon we had a little very mini gathering of a few people who wanted to learn about Tantra. In our cabana, which is spacious and lends itself to that. And we were talking about the inner marriage. So I thought that we might do a little meditation about the inner marriage tonight. Because many of you have not, as far as I know, experienced it. So that will be our agenda, to do an inner marriage meditation. Sorry, my voice is a little, I've been talking all day, teaching. So it's trying to get it going again. So if you want to get in your comfortable position and close your eyes, and we will embark. So take a moment to check your posture. And adjust it, make fine attunements as you need to. And then let's take a little time to go through your body and notice where there's tension that you can release. So allowing the body to fully relax. And when you've done that, we're going to turn our attention to the breath. Just observing your breath. One of the highest practices in working with the breath is breath awareness. That simply means becoming aware of the breath in all its dimensions. So that's becoming aware of the rate and rhythm of the breath. Becoming aware of what part of your torso expands and contracts when you're breathing. Especially becoming aware of the junctures between inhalation and exhalation, and between exhalation and inhalation. So when you complete an exhalation, is there a pause between that exhalation and the impending inhalation? Or does one start immediately after the other? And then the same thing with inhalation. After you inhale, does the exhalation come immediately, or is there a pause? So I'm sorry. I'm having a lot of trouble with my voice. Thank you. So we want to try to minimize the pauses in the breath. So if you even just imagine that as you complete your exhalation, the inhalation begins maybe even a little before you end the exhalation. So there is a continuous flow of breath. So just check on those 2 points. And now we're going to bring our attention to the point between the nostrils. Where the nasal septum joins the upper lip. And let your attention rest on that point. And if your attention wanders, bring it back to that point. It will help you to focus on that point, to notice the cool air coming in on through both nostrils, on each side of this point, and the warm air exiting through both nostrils on each side of this point. So letting your attention be very steady on that point. Very steady. And from that point, we're going to follow up on inhalation from the point between 2 nostrils toward the point between the eyebrows. So as you inhale, let your attention move upward, and then as you exhale, let it come back down to the point between the nostrils. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And with each inhalation, bring your attention a little higher, moving up toward the point between the eyebrows. Good. And when you have reached the point between the eyebrows, let your attention rest there. No longer exhaling down, just resting on the point between the eyebrows, which is the third eye or the sixth chakra, actually. Part of what they call the kshetra of the sixth chakra. And once you've really settled into that point, we're going to follow the breath back from the point between the eyebrows toward the center of the skull. Again, gradually moving backward on each inhalation, going a little further back. Yeah. So we're looking for the point in the center of the skull. This is very near, actually, hopefully on the pineal gland, which is really the third eye. And when you feel like you've found that point, again, we're just going to let our attention rest on that point, deep from the point between the eyebrows and toward the very center of your skull. So you can kind of feel around until you feel like what's the comfortable spot there, looking for that light perceiving organ, which is the pineal gland, which actually is another eye. Okay. Now, once you've reached that point and you're resting on that point, just make yourself comfortable. Imagine that you're settling into a big chair that's very comfortable and soft and welcoming. Okay, great. Now, from that point, we're going to let our attention move down into the right-hand side of our inner space. And we're going to invite our masculine side to make an appearance on the right side. If you if you feel something or you feel a certain feeling tone or for a certain emotion, or maybe you catch a glimpse of him, because each of us, whether we are male or female, have a masculine side and a feminine side. And the masculine side is the right side because the right nostril carries the prana of Pingala. And the right side of your body is related to the left hemisphere, which mediates logical thought and linear thinking. So that aspect of ourselves is represented within the right-hand side of our body and the right-hand side of our inner space. So we're going to just look there and see what appears. It may be an image of a person, or it may be sounds or colors or whatever it is. Just see what you perceive as you let your attention rest on this area of your inner world. So once you have seen or felt or experienced what's there, you're going to bring your attention back up to that deep point in the center of your skull, where you are seated. And then you're going to let your attention come down into the left side of your inner space and see what appears in your awareness as your feminine aspect of your being. Shakti, as opposed to Shiva, whom we just visited. And just give it a little time to see what comes into your awareness. Now invite her, your feminine, to speak to you. Invite her to share her wishes, her conflicts, her distresses, her hopes, whatever she wishes to share. And give her your full attention.
And now begin to gently withdraw your attention from the left side of your body, coming back to that place deep within the third eye, the pineal gland. Into that comfortable seat. Become aware of holding the encounter with both the masculine and feminine within your deep third eye. If your masculine and feminine were to have a conversation, what would they say to each other? Letting that conversation be fluid, not constructed, but rather spontaneous. And perhaps there's no sensation at all of a conversation that they're having. That's fine. We permit them to sit in each other's presence. On your next in-breath, begin to gently let your concentration on masculine and feminine and their conversation fall away. Keeping the focus of our breath and our energy on that deep third eye. Surrendering entirely to the non-space, non-time quality On your next exhalation, begin to permit your consciousness to meander toward the place on your forehead that is between your eyebrows. So we go a little toward that place, and then on the inhalation, back to that deep third eye. Each exhalation, we get a little bit closer toward the forehead. And each inhalation, we go back to that comfortable, beautiful. Until our consciousness and breath are entirely upon that surface third eye between the eyebrows at the center of the forehead. And breathe in and out of that space for a few moments, enjoying that exquisite quality. On your next exhalation, begin permitting your consciousness and your breath to gently migrate to that point between the nostrils where the nose meets the upper lip. We progress a little bit on our exhalation. We come back to the third eye on the center of the forehead. And each exhalation, we progress a little bit closer toward that point on the upper lip where the nostrils meet, where the air is cool on the inhalation and warm on the exhalation. And we now know that we can visit our masculine. We can visit our feminine. We can recreate our awareness of that deep third eye, the center and the seat of the inner marriage at any time we wish. It is accessible to us. The breath is going in and out through the nose. No pause between in-breath and out-breath. No pause between out-breath and in-breath. On our next exhalation, we will begin permitting our breath to drop down even lower and begin to touch our heart center. In the center of the chest, between the nipples, nestled between the breastbone and the spine. Our exhalation down out through our heart, and our inhalation in through our heart. We breathe in through our heart and out through our heart. We breathe into the hearts of this community and into the hearts of our society at large. And we breathe out into the heart of our community and out to the heart of our society at large. Breathing in and out. You may find that this breath is so large, it begins to fill up not just your heart chakra, but your arms and your legs and your belly and your head. And when your body begins to feel enlivened, you may begin moving your fingers, feeling what that's like. Moving your wrist if you like. You may even take your hands and rub them together lightly. And then as they begin to become more awake and alive, we begin rubbing the hands quite vigorously and placing them over our eyes. Opening our eyes into our hands over our face. And permitting our hands to drop down to our thighs, our laps, leaving our eyes open and beginning to reconnect with our environment, with our feet, with each other. This is a good time to move your legs a little bit if they've become a little tight or stuck feeling or even asleep. And we'll come back into this space. Get a sip of tea or water. I'm not sure you noticed, but I'm not Rudyji. And we lost him just as the feminine was coming into play. If you do have things you would like to share, this is an excellent time to do so. It does bring a sense of community to share about these things. Sometimes we have very private experiences. We don't want to share them. But if you'd like to share, this is your time. We would just need you to unmute and make your share.
Hi, I'd like to share.
Hi, Colby.
Hello. Um, so thank you very much for picking that up. That was awesome. My masculine looks like John Stamos next to a limousine. He's very showy. He's very glitzy. And my feminine is this kind of goddess in a white robe with a blue sash who doesn't think much of him. She thinks he's a little showy. He's a little too young for her. And he's trying to, she gets in the limo and he's determining where to go. She's like, no, screw this. I'm getting out of the limo. When you take orders from me, then, they're not getting along real well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share that and get some guidance, as well as I wanted to ask, can we just go directly into our third eye, the deep third eye, or do we need to do this treatment prior? So there's 2 questions there.
Right. I'll take the first one first.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay. It's hard to imagine an inner marriage when your masculine and feminine aren't really even talking to each other, right? So this particular practice, as simple as it is, provides a forum for the masculine and feminine to visit. So I would suggest that you do this practice. Maybe make it a ritual that you do it every week. And just see how they develop in their relationship with each other. You will find as you do this practice that you'll become much more aware of the masculine and feminine throughout your daily life. Like, for example, as you're eating your dinner and the curry is so delicious and you're going, oh gosh, this is so delicious. And that's your feminine. Or when you're attacking your accounts and all the numbers add up correctly and you say, yes, that's the efficient mental, which is a characteristic of the masculine. So that's what I would suggest there. As far as do we have to take a particular pathway to get to that deep third eye, which is, by the way, named Agnya? Do we have to take a specific pathway? No, but it's a lot easier to do it that way. And you can try it for yourself, doing just the simple breath. I would suggest starting here at the nares because it's a very easy place to start. And you can run the experiment and see what you think. I find if I try to go directly there that I get hijacked by my mind. But you may not find that. Are there any other senior or students or teachers of Rudyji that would like to comment here? I don't want to commandeer. Okay, thank you, Colby.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I have a question for you. How do we enhance our awareness of the masculine and feminine throughout our practice? Now, I talked a little bit about how to do it in our daily life, but how do we do it throughout our practice? Anyone? Oh, Shane asked me to say it again. I'm not sure if I didn't say it well or if I blinked out. So, how do we enhance our awareness of masculine and feminine in our practice?
George here.
Hi, George.
The only way I've really done it is just to be aware of kind of what my left and right side are doing, and associating that with my masculine and feminine. So I'd be curious if there's a little bit further instruction there.
Yeah, well, by the way, when I say practice, I should probably be more clear because I'm not just talking about the time we sit down in the morning, but rather our entire life. Most of you know that I studied with a Sufi teacher for years and years and years, and he used to say there were 5 paths to God. And I'm not going to go through them all. That's a whole nother talk. But he would say the 5th path was the most challenging path because it was the path of everyday life. And what was challenging about it was that we would forget that we were even on a path at all. So the simple matter of bringing our attention to the masculine and feminine, as George has said, is probably the most helpful. But also remember the practice of Nadi Shodhana. As we do the practice of Nadi Shodhana in the mornings, the alternate nostril breathing, we're waking up and restoring balance to the right-handed nadi and the left-handed nadi. So it's a very useful practice. Okay. Last opportunity.
I'll add something, Arabella. For me, it helps me as far as my practice and enhancing my awareness and relationship with the masculine and the feminine. I find it's important to have different structures in place, so to speak. Like, for instance, my meditation and yoga in the morning, and I have little reminders that go off during the day, like one that has me check in with the breath and things like. And for me, the more challenging part of is having my divine feminine taken care of, or having that relationship, because my divine masculine wants to push through things and just get the work done and all that kind of stuff, which is very encouraged,
Right.
by the world. So those little reminders and other little things that aren't necessarily tantric, so to speak, but I mean, I guess they could be, but like, for instance, when I say a blessing before I eat, that has me be mindful and connect with a bigger picture than, oh, I'm just going to feed myself, like that kind of thing. So I find the more of those that I have, the more likely I am to stay present to the bigger picture in my relationship to the divine masculine and feminine.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, David, for saying that. I just wanted to add that when you mention that it's very encouraged to kind of be more in our masculine in our society, that I've had moments when I get really confused between the divine masculine and the distorted masculine because masculinity, let's say, like the masculine, more logical, linear type energy is so encouraged in our society. I feel like it's the kind of the line between where the distorted masculine is versus where the divine masculine is, which I mean, you know, linear energy and the ability to penetrate and to be active is fantastic and wonderful. However, it gets so overused in our society that sometimes I find myself being really like repelled and disgusted from the whole, like that whole type of energy in general. So
Oh gosh, there's so much I could say about that, Jody. But thank you. I would just, I'll say one small thing, and it's just, maybe you'll find it useful and resonate, maybe not. When I'm wondering, is that the efficient masculine or is that the deficient masculine? I ask my body, how does that feel in my body? And the deficient masculine feels like violence. Yeah. Yeah. So if that's helpful, yay.
that's incredible, Arabella. Thank you. And the question that I've been sitting with actually today is, how can I feel safe enough to not do violence to myself? Because I feel like there's such a, within me, I'll speak for myself, there's such a conditioning to be constantly in the linear and efficient and doing mode that I think that I need to create a safety, a feeling of safety within myself. And I've been really getting curious around what the resources are that I need to cultivate that safety so that I'm not doing violence to myself. So putting it that way is fantastic. Thank you.
Well, I would say one way to create the awareness of the safety is to honor her, honor the feminine. This will strengthen your safety like nothing else. Okay. Well, we are out of time. We will meet again next Sunday night at 7 p.m. And hopefully Rudyji's internet will hold out. My guess is he's just finishing his meditation with the people he was doing it with, and they're just now probably realizing that they lost us. So be well. Thank you very much for your attention this evening. This will be broadcast on the YouTube channel. That's Dancing Shiva Tantra. On YouTube. And as always, your donations to Dancing Shiva Tantra do help to support this offering. So thank you very much, everyone. If you could unmute, say goodnight to everybody.
Thank you, Arabella. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone.
you.
Good
Thank
night.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Arabella.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Love.